Hey guys, Static here. First off, I've been gone for a while. For the last 2 years, I've been playing ESO, but pretty casually due to the only internet connection available at my house being a hotspot. Well, good news. Fiber internet moved into my area, and today I have a new Magplar PvP build for the Scalebreaker patch that you don't want to miss. This is Shockplar. So, in the last year or so, I've sort of retired the Stamsork to the realm of PvE. And I've been PvPing a lot on Magden, MagDK, and most recently the Magplar, which in this patch's dot heavy meta has become very successful. If you notice, this tune sort of looks like a Templar more than a Magplar, but trust me, it all makes sense and it works very well. Let's take a look at the stats. First off, I'm a Dark Elf. I really like the extra stamina along with the damage that comes with Dark Elf, but anything would work. A Breton for sustain or a High Elf works well as well. I have about 27k health in PvP, which is more than enough. You only have 31k Magicka with this setup, but I feel like it's enough. Our damage comes from other means. Our regens are looking decent at 1400. Looks a little low, but trust me, with some things that we're doing, we have enough sustain. The 1k health recovery is nice. The stam recovery goes up to about 1k, which is really also nice on a mag class. I'll show you how that happens. Our spell damage is 3k unbuffed. This goes up to 4321 fully buffed. So that's a big part of our damage, but it also really helps the heals. So rather than building for the max Magicka, we're not running a shield full time. You can with a couple different setups, but the spell damage really double dips for our healing and our damage. So I like to build this way. Spell crit is 43% in PvP, so it's actually pretty decent. Our resists are looking real good on the back bar here. About 40%, 41% reduction, near 40% reduction on physical spell and crit resist. So that's pretty good. Our penetration is pretty nice. That's a big part of where the damage comes from on this build. Penetration on proc sets is one of the only things that can actually up the damage on proc sets, so we'll talk about that a little later. We're running the Apprentice. I like that this double dips into damage and healing once again. You could run Lover, but I kind of feel like that's overkill on the penetration. You're pushing near 20k penetration then, which is nice for damage, but doesn't really do anything for the healing. Really, anything will work here. Crit damage. I just like the straight flat spell damage. We're running Clockwork Citrus Fillet, and for consumables, we're going to be rocking. I like to generally pop in a movability with stealth detection, either for a Nightblade or anytime you're getting into an altercation. Pop that on the way in, get the upfront of movability, and then swap to a tripod for later down in the fight when your resources are dwindling. You get that nice stam burst. You've already broken free a couple times, done some dodge rolling and sprinting, so these are the potion of choice. Let's get into the sets. First set just got buffed this patch. Overwhelming. Has a great 2 through 4 piece, and it's 33% chance to proc when you do damage with a class ability, so it's up quite a bit. It's not a lot of damage, but it's AoE damage now, and it's going to proc on cooldown, and it gives you 15% of the damage done back as sustained. So basically that's 100 or so recovery per target. So in outnumbered scenarios, this set deals out a lot of AoE damage and also keeps you topped off. So it's very nice. The next set, and it is a great sword, is Aurorans. This is a great set. The 2 through 4 includes penetration, and we're going sharpened. So when we make our bar swap to this front bar, we get a lot of penetration. It doesn't really do a lot of damage on the tooltip. It's 1500, but it's every half second. And it's also nice because it's the same size as our jabs, so it pairs pretty well to keep pressure up on targets. On the back bar, we're running Death's Wind just to get the 2-piece physical resistance. That's how we maintain tankiness from both spell and physical damage. I like going Nirnhund defending. It's your best all-around stats for your resists. And then the last set is a new one that just came in this patch. It's Grunwolves. Gives you a 1-piece crit, which is nice, and whenever you deal crit damage, you're going to get 1,000 of your main stat and 500 of your off stat back. Every 5 seconds, this comes out to 400 recovery on your main stat and 200 recovery on your off stat. That's really good to be able to pair with 2 offensive sets on the body. I've never been able to do that before. This is the first time, like Engine Guardian, you're playing Engine Guardian RNG, I always call it. So I really like this new set. It pairs really well with this build, and I suggest people try it out. It's fantastic. For the jewelry, I went with Triune on all 3. It's just like the tri-stat on everything. That's the reason I have such high base stats. It's 150% efficiency on each glyph and on each trait on here. So I like to do that. You can go with anything here. I go with spell damage in all 3. If you're just learning the build and you want some more sustain, you can swap to a sustain glyph or 2. You can swap out your Mundus Stone and get some more recovery that way. So there's things to play around with here until you get the sweet spot. Depends on what you're doing. And another thing is we do change up our build based on what content we're doing and who we're running with. So we have a few options here. I also like to run the Ice Staff on the back bar if I want to run Ellie Drain, and I like to run Restoration Staff, the Black Rose Prison one, on the back bar when I went uber tankiness and someone else is going to give me Ellie Drain or another access to the Magicka Steel. So why are we running a Great Sword? I've tried out dual wield, I've tried out the Destruction Staff, and I really like the two-hander for a few reasons. First off, dual wield, the only thing you get out of it is you get 3% damage per one-handed sword that you use, which is great, except you don't use any other passives in here. The Destruction Staff would be great if you were using any Destruction Staff abilities. A lot of these passives here only apply like the Penetrating Magic. You ignore their resistances with Destruction Staff abilities. We're not using any Destruction Staff abilities, and I wouldn't even if I wanted to. I mean, there's just better things in our toolkit. So there's a lot of things here. I don't get any kills with the Destruction Staff. I don't get the Magicka back after it. So I do use this when I use the Ice Staff. Only these 2 passives really apply. If you're going to go for the one-handed shield, all of them apply, but no active abilities there. But as far as the two-hander goes, everything except for the cost reduction, because we're not using any abilities, actually all of these come in handy. We are weaving, so even though we're only getting a little bit of splash damage on our light attacks with the two-hander, it still happens, so you might as well take it. The heavy weapons gives us the same 6% damage increase that dual wield would. A lightning staff would give you 8% on your AoE abilities. A flame staff would give you 8% on your single target abilities. Well, a two-handed sword gives you 6% on everything you do, and we are double dipping into some pretty hefty single target damage and a lot of AoE damage as well. So the great sword comes out on top. Not to mention, you can do a heavy attack into your ultimate and get the 10% damage just like you do with stam classes. It works on a Magplar. And the Battle Rush. This really comes in handy. Every kill you get, you're getting 30% stam recovery for 10 seconds. That's how we get up to that 1k plus mark every kill we get. So that's just one more thing adding to keeping our stam topped off. As far as passives go, you do want to go 5-1-1. Get your Undaunted up, take your light armor, take your first 3 heavy, take your second, third, and fifth. A lot of people think the 5th one doesn't work when you're running 5-1-1, but it does actually. This applies. So you get a 3% cost reduction on sprint and you get a 4% roll dodge reduction. So why not take it? So our first 3 dots are single target. You're going to want to do Entropy to get your major sorcery up. You're going to want to do Vampire's Bane to get 10% spell damage off of minor sorcery plus your 10% crit, which does carry over to the back bar. And then Consuming Trap has just been buffed to hell this patch. Every time you get a kill with this, not only are you getting your 30% recovery from that two-hander, you're also getting like an Argonian passive or better every kill you get. This is great for sustaining. I mean, you're getting 6k Magicka back, 6200, 5k health, and 3300 stam. That's crazy. If you see a target going down from other teams, you're low on resources, pop this on them quick. You get the resources back. It's fantastic. Puncturing Sweep, this is bread and butter damage, goes right with that Auroran set. And Toppling Charge. This is great in CP environments because you can always put the off balance on them. In the CP tree, you're going to be taking a passive node in there that gives you the 10% increased damage on off balance targets. Off balance now lasts like twice as long as it did in previous patches, so it's a nice thing to have. And we're going Crescent Sweep for the ultimate. Like I said, heavy attack with a two-hander into this, it will hit hard the initial hit. The dot does not get strengthened, but that initial hit does if you heavy attack into it. Back bar, we're going Race Against Time. It's great as a Magplar. Finally, we have movement speed. Mistform's one thing. This thing's completely different. You can sprint with this. You can't sprint with Mistform now that they made the change to that skill. Channel Focus, this equals 480 Magicka recovery. So this is a huge part on top of that 1400 base we had, plus what our Overwhelming gives us, plus what Grunwolf gives us. This, you don't have any problems. Purge, of course, you want the extended, remove 5 negative effects. It's just the best thing in the game. Why wouldn't you use it? It's basically why we're on a Magplar right now. And this is your flex spot. When I'm running Sword and Board, I run the Radiant Aura. You put the Magicka Steel on everybody around you, which is great because all your AoE damage, anyone within 12 meters of you, that Overwhelming is ticking them, giving you that Magicka back, on top of Overwhelming itself giving you Magicka back. This on top of the Channeled Focus, on top of the base recovery, on top of the Grunwolf, you just have no problems anymore with sustain. I do feel like it's necessary to have, though. If you're going to run in duels or some smaller scale stuff, you want to run Ellie Drain here instead and go with the Death's Wind Ice Staff. That way you still get the block ability, you get the more penetration, which is great, and when you have someone running with you, like I run with my wife, she has a Magplar healer, she'll run Radiant Aura, she'll be throwing shards. I don't need either Ellie Drain or this. I'll throw on the Black Rose Resto Staff on the back bar, and I'll put Healing Ward here, and I'll be super tanky. Or you can use it on other people as well and really help out with healing. Of course, Honor the Dead is fantastic. It's this is like a 13k tooltip fully buffed. And Temporal Guard just for the minor protection on the back bar. Keep in mind, guys, this doesn't seem like a lot of damage. These 3 dots are all 30k tooltips. You do these 3 30k tooltips on someone, Toppling Charge in, hit your Crescent Sweep, and start jabbing with Overwhelming and Auroran. It just melts people. We'll take a look at the CP. This build really shines in no CP environments, but I do have it set up for CP and it is viable. You do want to take 75 points into your dots, especially get the Exploiter passive here, like I said earlier. The 10% damage on off balance, you have pretty much 100% uptime on this. Get your 10% damage. That applies to your proc sets, just like Penetration does, just like your Greatsword does. So it all adds up. Your tooltips really do start hurting. You want to go into Spell Erosion, might as well beef that up. Like I said, Penetration does beef up your proc sets. 12% here, 15% here on crit damage, and 10% on healing done. Get some 15% roll dodge reduction, 43 into Mooncalf. You don't have a lot of stam recovery, but it does help to get it boosted up a little bit just to help keep you topped off. 14%. I can't see putting 25% extra points in, 25 extra points in this to get 1% Magicka recovery. So we stop at 75. Get your 43 for 10% into your heavy attacks. You might as well, especially for the Resto Staff, this really helps out if you are having sustained problems. 15% into your Break Free, 15% into your Sprint. You have 1 point left over, throw it into Siphoner. That's one extra thing that people have to purge off. So it's a nice thing to do if you have 1 point left over and you don't reach another percentage point elsewhere. 13% on your healing received, so our healing is very good in CP. We got 64 and 64 for 13% into our physical and spell reduction. Nothing into thick skin. You don't need it. You're a Templar. You can purge it. So don't spend the points there. You can put those points into resistant. You can put them into ironclad. 20% here, and everything else gets dumped into the resistant. Alright guys, let's see how this build works in action. We're in a chaos ball here, it just started. I see the team coming in behind me and the team who picked up the ball originally, so I don't want to get pinched. I back off. Get hit with a draining shot. There's going to be a lot of draining shots in this match, and I complain about it quite a bit. So I follow my team around the corner. I see the werewolf jump in. I'm going to hit 1, 2, 3 dots, gap close in, hit the crescent sweep, and go to town. The dots are ticking. He's howling to heal himself, but it's just not enough. We think we're going to take this Necro down, but the Necro ends up going into his Bash ultimate, and I realize, hey, they killed the guy with the ball behind him, so what am I doing wasting time on this? So I switch targets, hit this guy, 1, 2 dots, get hit with a draining shot. Don't have time to put the third in, gap close, hit my ultimate. Someone drops a meteor, he goes down, but who gets it? Lo and behold, the Bash Necro. He comes out of his Bash ultimate, runs away. We know he's dry on resources, so I'm gonna hit him here. I'm gonna get the Chaos Ball. I'm gonna start heading out. Get CC'd here, and you're gonna see the speed. Even on a Magicka class here, race against time is great. I'm home free. No, I'm not. Dawnbreaker around the corner. I'm just about out of resources. I have 1 second left on the pot for the tripod. Get CC'd. Can't get the pot off. Later on in the match, things get a little hectic here. Teammate has the ball. I'm dotting up one target, focusing him. I do end up getting him down. I turn around, get hit with another draining shot, and I get upset about it, so I go to find the guy. Gap close to him, hit the ultimate, and I'm just going to pepper him. I keep getting hit with a draining shot, but I was on CC cooldown there. By the time I turn around, Purple is taking the ball, so I hit him quick. He streaks away, but I end up getting the ball here. Now you're going to see some of the survivability of this build. They're dogpiling me. It's easy to just purge it all off, hit your race against time, and get out of there. Turn around and go offensive on these guys. Why not? So I get my major sorcery up, throw down an ultimate there, and I start taking a lot of pressure here, so I got to back off. I got to kite around. They take out my buddy there, get hit with another draining shot, but I'm just purging. I'm just rotating between purge, race against time. Here I go offensive. I take out one, I take out the other one, and take out the third one. Now Purple's going to be coming in. Now the dot's really starting to tick hard on this. I eat a Dawnbreaker, purge it off immediately, but it's going to start being difficult here. Almost dead here, getting low on resources, draining shot again, roll out of a negate, come around the corner, toxic barrage, necro spamming skulls on me. I still was able to get around the line of sight, but I run out of juice here. We do end up winning this one though. This next one's a death match. I probably shouldn't go in on these three, but I got the guy dotted up with all 3 dots, so I might as well gap close in here, start jabbing away. He catches a heal. I hit my ultimate on the whole group, but I take a lot of dot pressure here, so I dodge roll down line of sight and purge them off. Now we're going to come back up. Our buddy showed up. We're going to start clearing these guys. I noticed the guy in the back is kind of just ranging, so I figure he doesn't have his buffs up, and he doesn't. He goes right down. So I help this guy execute this one, and we only got one more. About this time, we have the other team coming up the steps, so we don't have time to rest. I'm low on resources, but I get my Magicka Steel back up. We're going to eat a leap here, but we're going to take out the guy before that happens. This guy's going to go down really quick. That looked like it hurt. So we got a Necro coming in here. He's just going to gap close spam on me. I'm not really sure what he's doing. So we're going to take him out, and by the time we turn around, the team we just cleared has spawned. I'm low on resources. I purge everything off. I need to back off. So I'm waiting for my tripod to come up here. As soon as it comes up, I get my Magicka Steel up on the group. I'm trying to get close enough to get that up. Take my tripod once I get in there if I need it. I'm going to put my dots up, and I'm going in on this guy, hitting the ultimate. He's got so much pressure on him. He's going to go down, and that facilitates the push to go up here and clear these guys out again. Now, little do we know, behind us, the other team is coming in, and my buddies are going to get steamrolled here, and it's just going to be me left. But we are going to clear this team before that happens. So we go ahead and take them out. It's just the warden left, and here comes Purple Team coming up the stairs. They kill my last buddy. I am hurting here. I got a lot of dots on me. I'm low on resources. I'm going to do everything I can to just survive, but I'm getting dogpiled. Don't have a potion up, nothing I can do. This last one's at the end of a Chaos Ball match. My buddy's got the ball. He's safe. I'm going to go chase this guy over here, and I see a Nightblade out of the corner of my eye. I take a detect pot, and I make short work of him. There's a lot of Nightblades in this match, and I've been dealing with them the whole time. Stam DK comes through, dots me up. Dodge rolls through, take a nasty leap here, barely survive, hold block, get some purges on, get some Honor the Deads, and I take out another Nightblade here. At this point, all we have left is this Mag Sork, Pet Sork. He's not very good, to be honest. So I dot him up. I hit him with the ultimate. All I need to do is get a gap closer here to take him out. He keeps line of sighting, but the dots are too much. He goes down. About that time, Stam Sork comes in. So I was unprepared for that. Didn't have my defenses up. He hits me with a lot of dots and a Dawnbreaker here. I just Honor the Dead through it long enough to be able to purge off the effects. I get my tripod off. Now I can go offensive. I get 2 of my dots on him. He dodge rolled 1. Hit him with the ultimate. Hit him with the gap close. Now he's just going to melt. Tries to get away. It's not going to work. I see my buddy fighting a Nightblade over here. And I'm going to help him. And Dawnbreaker out of stealth. So I'm going to punish him for that. I purge that off, take him out, hit both of them with the ultimate, stun the other one, take him out as well. Now, after these 2 altercations, I'm pretty low on resources, but I do see a Nightblade coming to get me, so I go towards the middle here. I'm just going to buy my time, and 5 seconds till I get a pot. He dots me up. I'm still buying my time. Put up my 1 dot, 2 dot, 3 dot, gap close, and ultimate. It's really effective, guys. I come down the hill here at the end of the match to find my buddy has picked up the Chaos Ball. He's low, dotted up. Give him a couple Honor the Deads on the way through. We're going to turn around and clear this mess up behind him. About this time, I am out of resources. I get this last Nightblade, and I think I'm going to get him. I get a little too thirsty here, and he ends up taking me out and lives to fight another day. Thanks for checking out the video, guys. This is the first one back with the new internet, and I had fun making content again. I've been streaming on Twitch here and there, so come by, drop a follow, and hang out. As always, like and subscribe, ask me questions in the comments, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'll see y'all next time.